In fact, yesterday, for real, I was so despondent after our game that I turned off the Duke game at halftime, went to sleep, took a nap, woke up to found out they'd gotten beat, thinking that might make me feel better.
And
it made me feel worse, thinking we could be there in the Final Four and Duke not be there.
That's the way you actually felt about all that.
That's exactly right.
You know, it's interesting, Rex. You're the perfect person to ask this then in that regard. With you saying that it would make you feel better that Duke wasn't in. You know, my 10-year-old son, who just beat me and the rest of the crew here in our bracket, knowing I'm a Michigan fan, watching me root for Michigan State in that game, asked me why I hated Duke so much, and I didn't really have an answer for him. Rex,
yeah,
why?
I really don't either, Rich. And here's the thing: I like all the guys, almost every guy that's ever gone to Duke. I really like Coach K. I think he's fantastic. I have friends, Johnny Dawkins, one of my good buddies, Jay Billis, all those guys. Jay Will, love all those guys. I just can't stand Duke and the idea of Duke. I don't even know what that means, but I can't stand it. Yeah. So, that's disappointing. I wanted to see the big kid for Duke play again. I feel like he's a, generational type of player, so I'm a little disappointed for them. But I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it.
Yeah, I bet. I know. So, I mean, obviously, you got Reddish. You have, obviously, Zion and Barrett. Is this a failure of a season for Duke? I hate to be so black and white here, because normally I do like to live in the gray area, that there's not everything is one thing or the other in sports. But you've got this collection of freshman talent that is so unique, and Duke didn't even make the Final Four. Where do you stand on that subject, Rex?
Let me just ask you the question, Rich, because that's what I think about when you ask. How do you view the John Calipari 38-0 team that was beaten by Wisconsin in the Final Four?
Right.
I'm asking you, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like that was a complete and utter failure?
No, I do not.
I kind of do. I kind of do. And so, therefore, I look at Duke this year and I go, yeah, come on. If you got 3 of the top 5 or 6 guys, you're supposed to win. I guess what I don't get, and maybe it's just I'm hypersensitive to the Kentucky, sort of critique, is Kay taking as much grief today as Cal is? I don't know. I know in our neck of the woods, Cal's taking a lot of grief. But it seems that maybe Kay's being treated with a little kinder gloves after this than Cal might be. Is that right or wrong?
Well, I mean, he has taken Duke to a dozen Final Fours. He would have broken the record that he's tied with John Wooden with had this team beaten Michigan State yesterday. Maybe there's that. But you explain to me why is Cal getting heat in the Kentucky world right now?
I mean, Cal's been there 10 years. He's been in the Elite Eight, 8 times? Final Four 4 or 5 times? Won 1. I just don't get it. It seems like back in the day, a few years ago, Cal was everything that was wrong with college basketball, with one and done and all that. And then Kay started doing the one and done, started going after those guys. And I'm just, he's won 1 since then. But 1, I don't understand. I feel like there's just this little different set of rules for Cal as opposed to Kay. And I know that they're different types of coaches, but they're Hall of Famers. I just don't get the uber critical narrative on Cal all the time when this team went to the Elite Eight with 4 freshmen and sophomore starting.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.